Alright, 97 to 01 Jeep Cherokee XJ heater coil. Everybody freaks out about how hard it is. Once you get the concept of what Jeep is trying to do, you can pretty much do any Jeep out there. You get like Ford and crazy hard stuff to work on, they're intimidating. But once you understand Jeep, you got this. Don't freak out. I'm going to show you the tools you need before you start in case you're using this video. And then before you start, I would order this bracket. It is, unless somebody's replaced it, yours is going to be broke. It's the center console. What holds it to the body, like this will screw to the body, and your console will screw right here. There's no such thing as a good used one that I've found. And yeah, it's like 30 bucks. Just, I'll put a word up there of what it actually search is. But that, heater core, and let's check out the tools. Trying to get started dead on 7 o'clock. And I know it won't be no record because I'm having to do camera stuff. Tool wise, I don't even remember if I used this or not, but 13 millimeter, 11 7/16, and then 10 millimeter. Technically screwdriver, I don't even know if you need a flat. But you'll be seeing me using cheater stuff because I do this all the time. Quarter drive extension, 3/8 extension. I don't honestly remember if you need those. 13 millimeter deep well. Gotta have a deep well. And then I've got a wiggle. You'll see why. I don't think you needed this. You do need that. So at the end, I will finalize this. It's kind of hard to remember every single specific tool, but I'm pretty close. This is the only specific tool. It's a 3/4 AC disconnect tool and then a 5/8 AC disconnect tool. That's about the only specific tool you would actually need. But again, at the end of the video, I'll make sure you know every tool you'll 100% need to do this. I'll explain the story of this Jeep. Don't freak out. This was a mail Jeep where they delivered mail from the wrong side. And I went and pulled an entire dash out, and at the end of the video I'll tell the story. This is kind of sucks, but I signed up for it. So don't freak out, there's nothing really different here for yours, but one thing I do, I put a magnetic tray on this side. Then you really don't need it in the middle, but I was just trying to make it easy for you. Magnetic tray in the middle, and then got a magnetic tray over that side. That way you just keep your bolts split up and makes it easier for going back together. In case I forget to show, that comes with foam. You just wrap the foam around your heater core. But I personally haven't had good luck with O'Reilly's. That's the part store I use. That's the name brand off Rock Auto I've been using. So far so good. And then I've got some of these hose crimp off pliers I use just because I do this all the time, but not a huge necessity. Got 3 minutes to get going. Alright, 6:59, close enough, let's go. First thing, common sense. I got a scotch under my wheel. Actually it's a wrench, but negative battery terminal. Feel like everybody should know that. Never know. Cherokee puts this little rubber right here. They tell you not to do it, but it's fine. The air conditioning, I'm not going to preach that. That's however you feel like it, but the AC has to be drained, and then the heater hoses. But I save that for when I'm ready. That way you don't have to go wash your hands again. So let's take the negative cable off. Pretty sure that's pretty self-explanatory. And something I always do, if you got a rag that works better, just in case it don't decide to make connection on you while you're not here. So let's get started in the middle. 7 o'clock. All right, dead center. Oh, if you got power seats, scoot your power seats all the way back. Somebody the other day said something about taking the seats out. I don't know, that's about the dumbest thing I've heard. Now, key forward, 1 click. Pull this back. This is where you need your stuff scotch. And just try to be as gentle on that as you can, but that's what you got to do. Lay it in there. Let's see. Yeah, see how that's already broke? Now, 4-wheel drive shifter. You'll have to be moving it around, but the bezel around it, just be very careful. Slide it up. And this one already broke. I didn't do it. Little light bulbs, they just pop in there. You just gotta get rough with them. And I'll be gluing that back on. I didn't do that. I just always sit the stuff in the back seat, get it out of the way. This shifter, same thing. Just if you need to, get you a flathead, come in, just kind of snap it up there. Be very careful, this stuff's old, getting hard to find. Slide it straight over the shifter there. And then again, the light just pops in the bottom. Now, I don't want to move the camera. There's a Phillips head screw right here. Pretty easy to see. And then one right beside your transfer case shifter. Feel like those are easy enough. You should be able to find them. Feel like this dash has been out before. So now, there should be screws in here, but I believe it's already broke. So pull the emergency brake up. And we'll start picking this console. Well, maybe it ain't broke. Again, there's 2 screws in here. They should be easy enough to find. Only had 1 screw in it. So now we'll just start picking up. So you'll have to move the shifter forward. Getting over the e-brake's gonna be the hard one. That's that. Shifter goes forward again. Transfer case goes to low. Shifter comes back. It just has to finesse it through there. So. I just realized this is Mark's Jeep and he's already run the wires for the speaker. So maybe he didn't do it. Oh, I bet he didn't know because this Jeep didn't have this in there. But it's supposed to have a vent that goes from right there all the way up and sticks in there. So yeah, he probably just didn't know and it didn't come with this Jeep. But you'll have one. All it does is just hook in and go in there. I'm going to take this outside. It could go in the back seat or the roof. So yeah, they look like they've changed this bracket and it's already broke again. Now I'm going to put the e-brake back down. I'm going to pull the shifter all the way back, transfer case shifter. And just because I'm sitting here, we'll just go ahead and do it this way. This bezel right here, usually just grab it around the bottom. Can y'all see? There we go. Just grab it around the bottom. And then 2 snaps at the top. I'm just going to lay it on the roof. Now this bezel that goes around here, see, there's going to be a screw right here. Screw right here. Screw to the left of the radio. Well, that one's already broke. Screw right there. So you never know if somebody's been ahead of you. I'm trying to think. I think you can take this off now without taking the bottom off. I'll just take that one off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 screws. Like I said, I don't know if somebody's been ahead of me taking stuff out. Tell you what, this panel right here, there's going to be 2 or 3 screws on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and remove it to make it easy. Yeah, there's 3 Phillips head screws or 7mm if you're like that. So now, be sure and keep your screws on per side. This should snap off right here. Is that camera recording audio? Hello? So this will just pull down. It's got 2 snaps at the top, screws on the bottom. Lay it on the roof. I'm going to go ahead and remove this metal panel. It's got 2 screws, same principle. And it kind of just hooks into the bottom. See how it just falls down and slides right back out. Lay that in the floor so it don't scratch anything. Now why I took that off is there's a little rubber that just kind of falls apart right here. Just kind of pull it apart. Now this panel's ready to come off. I'm going to tilt my wheel down. It's going to be hard to get over the headlight pull. I've never seen one not come out, but they do get kind of rough. Probably could take the steering column down first and be easier right here, but hanging on the headlight switch. I never done it that way, but it'll probably be easier to do the steering column before this. I ain't done a whole lot of XJs. I do a whole lot more WJ stuff than people believe. So now this top panel right here, that's the one we're searching for. Luckily this one's got a light bar glued on it. But if yours had the airbag right here, just get you like a flathead, come in there, and you'll just start finding little snaps in there. Same thing on this side. Yep, snap dead center. I think the snaps actually go straight forward, so you have to pull it straight back. I'll lay this on the roof. Let's see. Let's come on that side and finish. Alright, new angle. Never did this before. Let's see. Right along here, that's where the majority of stuff's going to be. And like this little bracket, you can see most of them's already broke. But take the little fuse cover off, and there should be a 7/16 or 11 millimeter. I call them a speed nut. They're just like a stamp nut. Keep up with it. Now this panel should wiggle out of there. It'll be kind of hooked right here around the door jamb. Yep. Slide down and lay that underneath. Right here is where your vacuum's going to be going. Just pull your clip up. I heard them let go right there. This is the only thing that sucks. This Jeep's aftermarket got a radio, so it's got like an amp plug and stuff. That's just sucks because it's not factory. I'll have to undo it. But we're going to finish right here. This little green connector, slide the little red plug over, and you're going to squeeze and actually pull up, and that connector will now go down, I believe. Alright, like I just said, if I make a mistake, I'll own up to it, but it's been a while since I've done an XJ, so the antenna, they just pulls apart right there. There's got to be a connector right in this area that I'm going to forget. Let me go look on the other dash. That is a negative. Jeep, well, Grand Cherokee has a connector right here. It looks like Cherokee has everything on that side. So as far as I can tell, that right there, and then that green plug, and then your vent tubes. Now, there's a 13 millimeter right here. That's the one that I said you can, well, I didn't say, it looks like you can just leave it halfway loose. I probably would go ahead and take it all the way out. Well, I went 90% of the way. The way it is, you'll see it's got like a hook. Now, there's 10 millimeters across the dash. We're going to go ahead and remove those while we're here. We do need a deep 10 millimeter. Again, keep up per side with those. As I start folding the dash back, I should be able to get these connectors right here. Wow, Mark used a zip tie? He must not have did that. Alright, so where we're at. Y'all should be able to see, right here there's a bracket, a little black bracket. This is where I was using the 13 wiggle. It's a bolt there, and there's 2 studs that attach to the dash. When I get over there, we'll finish, but those can go in dead center. That bracket will come out. Alright, so that's about got this side covered. 7/12. So let's move to that side. Y'all was riding on a box. I just did half the column and forgot to push record because I've got this headlight. I just wasn't thinking. Let me put it back together. I'm very sorry I screwed it up. I'm going to try to do it the best I can, but there's no sense in me putting it back together. So first thing, I come over here, I took 2 screws out right here, the 7/16 like I told you, off in that hole right there. Took it off, wiggled it down around here, and then pulled it down around the hood thing right there. Next thing was the steering column. There's 3 screws. If you look on this side, there's 1. This will sit like that right there. So there's 2 around the steering column and then 1 back here. And I don't know what that hole or the other hole is right there. So I removed them. I guess this does work better and show you better. This bracket, I went ahead and removed the 13mm on this side. And then you can just slide it right back out of the way. Keep up with your bolts. Now this part is pretty cool. You know how this thing will lock where you can't go down? You'll put your key in, go forward. There's a little black thing right here. You squeeze it, you pull it out. If I can get them in the same shot. That's what keeps it so you can't steal a Jeep. So if you had one and didn't care about that part right there, you can just unhook this. And there's an electronic part right here you got to squeeze in the center, slide that connector out. So that's that. I'm going to throw that back out of the way. And then this connector right here, that is the airbag. It's got to come undone, slide the red thing and then push it and throw it off back in there. I just get a screw and push it in there. I even dropped the camera and the camera tumbled and I still didn't notice it was on. But I did learn. What I'm going to go ahead and do is drop the steering column down where we can get to these little connectors a whole lot easier. You may have to rotate the wheel around. But you can see right there, there's a, can you see that? Take that nut out and then slide that shaft down right there. If you don't want to lose it, you can just put it back in there. So now there's a 13 stud this side, and then you can see right there there's a long stud. Should be one somewhere over there, and then one long stud right there. So I feel like deja vu. I'm gonna drop those, and then we'll see if we can get to these connectors a little easier. When you take them loose, it's got like spring pressure. It's kind of weird. It does something goofy. Let's get the back ones first. That, keep it on this side. Kind of almost need a wiggle for them. They're at a weird angle. So that's the bottom 2 13s. And straight up through here, I'm gonna get the back one first. I've learned mechanic work. You always do the harder stuff and leave the easier stuff for last. Just makes it work a lot better. So now you can see it's fell down. Man, I want y'all to be able to see these connectors, but there ain't no good way to hold the camera. Right here, your wipers should be a squeeze in on the bottom, pull. Okay, that's that. Try my best. I need 4 hands. This right here, be careful with this little thing there. As you can see there's a squeezy there. Oh, that was easy enough. I didn't even do that one last time. I did this one. Squeeze on the bottom. So that's those. Pull this back around. Those are gonna go there. Pull up right here. Squeeze. This is your ignition switch. I can't believe I did a whole video without the camera off. Airbag, clock spring right here. See there's a little tab you pull up. And on this side, you'll pull down on a tab. You should be able to. So that's got all the wires. Now, steering column, don't spin the steering wheel, clock spring, stuff like that. Just pull it out. If you're scared of it, put you like a zip tie or duct tape or something like that. But just don't spin it. It's that easy. Now, bunch of wires. Oh, that's one thing I missed is in the junkyard was a brake pedal switch. You can undo it, but all you do is just take it, turn it, loosen it a quarter turn, and then just pull it straight out of the hole. That's pretty sure it's easier than disconnecting. Let's get a 10mm, and there's a ginormous connector right here. You just unscrew it. Go till it won't go no more. Wiggle it. So that's got that. Cherokee's a lot easier than I remember. Seems like there's something. Oh. Yeah, see these two connectors right there, 10 millimeters? Do the same thing with them. You can get straight out on through here. It's easy enough. So now they'll just wiggle out of there. Let them fall down. So what's left? Now let's put our shifter all the way down. You do not have to remove the radio, anything like that. Six 10 millimeters across the top. Drop that one. But I know a guy's got more bolts. So that's pretty sure that's got it covered. And again, as I say on my other videos, if you have two people, it's a whole lot easier, but I did the one in the junkyard by myself. Not bad, but it should have been way better. I legitimately did the entire side and had to put it back together. All your tools and stuff out of the way. It's just gonna pick up and come back with you. As long as we didn't forget that. Tried to hang on this stud. There we go. Oh. The 13 millimeter on the bottom side, I forgot it. I showed it in the first scene, but I didn't have the camera on. Right here, pretty same as the other side. You will loosen it about halfway, give or take. Probably could take it all the way out, but you don't have to. It's like a hook. Just very awkward. And now it's like slid over and got this screw in a bind. But if it was all the way out, it would just fall right out. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, so now I've got to undo the radio. Just let me lay it down. Make sure you ain't breaking nothing. If this was factory, you could just slide it right out, but it's aftermarket. I'm gonna cut the blue wire on this side. Can't cut the RCAs, but I can cut this little power wire. This side, just reconnect the later on. Now we should be able to just grab the dash. Be careful what you're swinging around. Don't knock my camera over. $7.35. That's easy, a 15-minute job. Now where are we at? I think now everything you do is out under the hood. Let's go check out that. So now if your AC's drained, I'm just going to remove this little thing. The older ones probably won't have this. It just gets in the way. Keep that stuff. We'll just let her hang out right there. Now this is the hard part. Well, the vacuum line. Be careful with it. They are fragile. And now this is the hard part, the AC line. They have these little safety devices. Slide them off there and keep up. One's bigger and one's smaller. So keep up with them. Now we got to get this AC line off, and even as many as I do, they're still not fun. So this should be the 5/8 should be the one towards the regular driver's side. Push everything together. Twist this around. Oh, that scared me. So that's that one. Yours probably won't go that easy, I'm sorry, but now the black one 3/4, you just gotta get rowdy with them. Tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. Have some wiggle room. 13mm. Well, it's supposed to be, but that's got cheap China stuff. It's 12. It's crazy. China goes through that much trouble to make something a millimeter, half a millimeter smaller, just to make it cheap. So maybe we can wiggle it off there. Tell you what I'm gonna do. There's a scene that I filmed in the junkyard. I'm gonna go ahead and play it so you know what I'm fixing to do, and that way I don't have to move the camera and show you. Pretty sure I'll be filming this video at night, so it's daytime. This is the Jeep the dash come out of. Rusty. But the motor's out, so I was gonna show you. These are the 2 bolts you're looking for here and there. And then right off that bracket, it does hold that bracket on. And then there's one right there in the corner. So I'm gonna take these 2 holding this bracket on that I showed you and see if I can get some wiggle room on this box here. Keep up with your nuts. Yeah, that's gotta help. So now we've got wiggle. Try to push everything back together. Push the tool up in there as far as you can. Yep, that was what it took. Write that one down. Now there's a little line. Right up there. Aftermarket light bar stuff. Should be able to, if I got enough flex, just to get this out of the way. If you don't have a junkyard full of Jeep stuff, you may not want to do this, because usually when you put a kink in a, well, that's low pressure. This should be good. We'll just twist it around enough to get it out of the way. I think 2000, 2001, this little stuff here, I'm gonna remove it. Looks like 2 3/8 or 3 3/8 holding this on. That way we can get our wiggle down there. Get the grip. Seems kind of excessive. Just need this thing to move. Maybe that's good enough. Alright, back to my wiggle with my 7/16. See if I can get it down there on this one. Still hard to see. I don't think it's gonna happen. You have to have a half short socket. So let me get a ratchet wrench. (7/16) ratchet wrench, or 11 if you want to do it that way. You're going to see the blower, but it does not have to move. Hopefully yours is not rusty. So now I'm gonna work on the hard to get to bolt. Hopefully somebody's already worked on it. Not put it back. Yeah, I think it's, again, 2000, 2001. Hey, they did take it off. They didn't put it back. Heck yeah. 2000, 2001, they hang the evap stuff off there, and it's got this little push clip that's so aggravating. Top one should be able just to use a regular wrench or socket. Probably should have done the heater core hoses first, but as I always say, it'll be alright. Always look on the drain. If somebody's read online what they're supposed to do, they put this little drain to keep preventing the floors from getting wet. And this point, oh, that's what I meant to say in the start of the video. If you're scared, go ahead and buy heater hoses, but you don't necessarily have to use them. Just in case you screw them up, you've got them laying there. Worst case, you can take them back. That one come off really easy. Yours probably ain't gonna come off that easy. Hey, this is where my pliers come into play. These ain't 100% necessary, just I have them, so why not use them? Sorry about the rain. There's your top hose. As soon as you get them off, you can elevate them. That helps out a lot. Second one's probably going to make more of a mess. Clamp off, just kind of try to wiggle them, hook them up easy. Does look like a, well, I say OEM head gasket or heater core. There's that, 746. We should pull the box out right now. It's gonna say I better hit record. If I remember right, this box just slides right out. If I remember right. I don't really know what this white connector is, but it goes through the thing, so I'm just gonna undo it. It squeezes in as well. Heck, the green connector didn't even have to come undone. Yeah, it does. It tucks down through there. Remember this now. I did one about 1 year and 6 months ago. Was the last time I did a Cherokee heater. Let's pull it straight back. The green wire is going to have to go through that little piece you'll be seeing. Everything appears to be through. Gotta be something down here that I didn't do. Oh, so it's the green connector. This green one's got to be weaseled through there. Like if you wanted to, there's a little black cover you got to take off. It's just really aggravating. Now, it feels like something's connected. Oh, try not to tilt back. There we go. Alright, I think I do remember now the Cherokee is pretty much more difficult than the WJ. Right at this point on a WJ, you could take 3 screws, slide the heater core out, and then slide the new one. So if this is your first time, at least watch me finish this. I know most people's probably going to click off about right now, but there's something in here that me and my buddy have screwed up twice, and I don't want you to do that. So let's remember what we had to do. And like I said, it's been a while since I've done a Cherokee. The blower motor doesn't look like it comes unplugged. Right here, it's a connector. It just don't look like it. Okay, got it. Let's see what's got to happen here. Looks like we need a 5/16 socket. And there's a bunch of these screws. Oh, I remember something else. Yeah, there's stuff you don't want to miss. So I can't show you every single one. If I forget one, I'll show you. But there's just screws all around the perimeter of this thing. It's gonna start raining by the time I start. Tell you what I'll do when I get them out. I'll count them. Tell you how many there is in case you're missing. I ain't got the box apart yet, so I haven't counted the screws, but I think the vacuum line's got to come off of these boxes. So I'm just going to name them off since y'all are here. It's the bottom's brown with a clear-ish connector, and then blue, and then yellow, and then red. So I think the bottom brown one has to come off, and it looks like the others are going to ride with the top. Let's see, that'll go with the top. This piece right here has to come off, and it's pretty sure it's got to come off. At least half of it does anyway. I guess you could cut it in half. Right along in that area is where the box is going to split. And then this piece looks like it has a split in it already. Yeah, the blower motor's got to come out. Remember that. I've done these. I just do a lot more ZJ or WJs than I do these. So keep these bolts separate. Don't get them mixed up. Keep the orientation of that. Maybe. Oh, there's little clips right here. Instead of screws, you can just pop them off right there. We'll put them in that box. So now I think the only other vacuum line is the green one, which Mark had removed. Tell you what, I'm going to just take this. Get some plugs for that. Just going to plug the heater core off so it don't leak in the floor. I'm going to go ahead and remove this bracket. Little cover down here. It's got 2 screws on the bottom. Couldn't apply pressure, it was running away from me. And then these screws look like they're slotted, so just loosen them, slide that off there. Probably should have done that in the cab. This green line looks like it's got to come with the top half, so that's got that covered. And then it looks like we're going to pop. Yep. These off right here. Actually, you can do it however you want. There's a bolt underneath this green one. I'm going to unplug the blower resistor. Well, let's go ahead and turn it off. This is your blower relay. If you're ever having trouble with it, I've seen these melt pretty often. It's a lot of work. So one more screw right there where my thumb is. Sure, it's ready to come apart. Yeah. And again, wait till I show you the parts you may mess up on the going back together of the box. So now, this needs to be off. It's just old. It's the Cherokee. Now we're ready to separate. One more right there. I seen it, but I didn't know if it had to come off or not. It attaches to the heater cord. I'm not going to count this as one of the half bolts. Yours may or may not have that. Now we slide right off there. This little demoflachi, that's what you're going to watch for. And this little floppity arm right here. Now it's pretty self-explanatory. You take the heater cord, slide it straight up. Oh, this plastic piece right here, I remember this stupid thing. Watch this thing carefully, because me and my buddy, I'm just going to leave it right there and go get the heater cord. We struggled forever to figure that thing out. Your evap core, if I was you, I would get some coil cleaner, go to the sink, clean it out. So I got my heater cord ready. Just going to slide it straight up. Off. And then this piece comes straight off. Goes straight back on. I don't really know what it does. Slide it straight back down in there. I guess it's just like an air deflector. Okay, so now this is one of my tricks. This little blend door. Well, it sticks through on the bottom to go to the blend door. That's so cool. All the air goes through condenser, but if you want heat, you change that, it sends it across here through the heater cord and then back into all that. That's just so neat. But all right, where I was going, this part right here, you can miss it. So come on the top right here. I've got a stepper bit. Just enough that you can see to make sure it's in there. Because you put it together and miss that. I'm going to go one step larger because that's hollow. So that's that. Heater cores are cheap. Sometimes you have to bend the lines to get them down in there. So now, watch this ring right here, and then watch this little flappy right there. You should be able to go easily back together. First time my buddy was doing it for me, missed this little flap, got it all together, and the blower motor was locked up, so we take all of it back apart, split the box. See, right now it's hung up on that. I can see it. See how it's pivoting? Kind of a dumb design, honestly, but yep, you can look straight down the hole. That's a big deal right there. Now, that. Make sure the ring is good. I believe that's got it. Probably first thing I would do is get a couple screws in this, put the blower motor back in, and make sure you can spin it to make sure it's not locked up. So, go back there. Let me count these screws real quick. Lucky number 13, unless some models where this clip is maybe had screws instead of clips. Later models, they just get cheaper. So should be 13 screws, one in the heater hose right here, and then what is it? 4 on the cover, and then 3 on the blower motor. gonna count them screws again in just a second, and then I'll make sure. But let's try the blower motor. Should be pretty self-explanatory. If you need to clean it, go ahead. It's the 3 gray screws. Now be sure to connect this vacuum tube back up. If you want, you could check the cycle of them, whatever. Now let's roll it this way. Let's put our little miniature harness back on here. Well, this will go first, the vacuum line. It's got a little snap that goes in right there and plugs into the recirculation vent. Looks like somebody changed the blower resistor and did not change or hook that back up. These should have some little snaps that go in right there. And then, what was this? Blower motor goes back across there. Yep, it spins, so that's good. Your blower motor. That plugs back in, tuck it away. At this point, if you're the one that's going to lead the video, at least lay your phone down and let it play while you're still doing this. Just kind of help me out, because I'll tell the story at the end, but pretty much doing this for no reason. Stick the vent tube through this little rusty hole here. Be sure to put this back on, and if you've got something even better, because this is where you'll get a big draft through the cab. That's that. Now we got our 2 little clippies. If you feel like when you're putting the box back together you're having to force it, something's wrong. Be sure and do that whole drag. Oh, I have 1 screw left. It's that one that goes into these. If you can't get these lined up, I wouldn't stress, because what I just said, they're cheap heater cores made in China and they don't always line up. So I'm just going to let them be, they'll be fine. I'm going to leave this off till I get it back in the thing. So we'll leave them screws there. So now we got to start back into the Jeep. 807. These are obviously double-ended studs, so if you have to, like yours was rusty and this didn't come off and it screwed from there, now I guess you put a pair of vice grips on the inside and then reinstall this to the box to make sure it lines up to the firewall. And then one little trick, stick that off in, let's do the heater core. That way it don't get kinked off right there. Before I forget to show you, you can see this little bracket right there. These are just really brittle because they have a lot of pressure on them, so that's the piece I'll be changing. I don't know if I'll include that. It's just a metal bracket to replace a plastic bracket. Alright, hour and 10 minutes later, we're going back together. I don't know if a Cherokee could be done in an hour. I know a WJ, I've did several of them under an hour. I don't know. I'll try it one day. Alright, so nothing too complicated here. Just going to slide it through there. Well, there's a bolt and a nut right there. I don't know what that does. Oh, this was the pedal conversion. They had pedals and steering wheel on both sides. Make sure this little black piece is out of your way so you can get it back together. Again, if you got 2 people, makes it a whole lot easier to get all this line back up. really have any tricks lining it back up because it's always just me, so I don't. If I could watch the holes out there, it would be so easy. Let's see. Trying to see if I can find one to feel. Yeah, you can feel this one. There we go. Gotta use your face. Push in on it with your face. I think the box is falling down like that and you're trying to hold it here. So you gotta get under it, pick up. Let me see if I can see what I'm missing in that one. Negative, it's a Cherokee with a 4.0. You can't see nothing behind the firewall. Let's see. Can't feel those bolts neither. There we go. There we go. And I've actually cut a board before to hold this up there on a WJ to get the bolt started. So let's go back out under the hood and finish that. See what I was talking about my dirty hands? So now let's just get the, let's get the middle bolt back on. And again, that's what I was saying, like, if this is as far as you're going to watch, just lay your phone down, because you know how like Whistling Diesel will put a black screen just to get ad revenue. I ain't really doing it for the ad revenue. It just makes it look like the video was crappy and you left it a certain time or something. I admit that bottom bolt, I wouldn't put it back neither. I don't see your box falling out. We'll get the hard one out of the way first. I'll do the nuts. Shouldn't need the disconnect tools again. Shouldn't. That's not it. Drop it. I did drop it. Look at there. I'm gonna get this corner one out of the way, and then we'll work on this middle stuff going back together. And while I'm thinking about it, I'll probably say it again at the end, but like I seen a post, the guy was talking about just did a heater core and he can't get no heat. I do see it quite often. You do a heater core, it's full of air. It makes no sense, but you have to rev it up to get fluid flowing. Just some random advice. Should be all I need that to. Now I can put this thing back together right over here. This evap crap. They are 3/8. They're smaller than a 10. As long as it's tension gets the job done. Alright, so let's do our heater core hoses. We'll pull that back out of there. The smaller one is the bottom one. Yep. Like I said, if you feel like now is a good time to replace them, it's probably a good time. When I put these spring clamps on, I try to let go and then kind of hit them, get them move around. And like where they've been sitting their whole life, I try to scoot them over just a piece of a quarter. The evap stuff, where did it go? Yeah, it come across the top. I was wondering if the evap went below or on top of the heater core hoses, and it goes on the top side. Let that go. Give her a good thump. I guess we can go ahead and hook this AC hose back up, or AC line. Gotta make sure they snap because they will come back apart. Vacuum hose, plug back into the one way. And now, I think we're ready for this bracket. get it back on the studs. That's so ironic that it goes on the studs that you had to take off to do this job. Alright, so all I did was start the stud so it didn't fall back off. I'm going to see if I can get this AC line wiggled off in there. I'm going to put it on the stud. And it clicked into place. Yeah, we're good. Tighten this back up. Should be done with that. Now we gotta get the 2 bolts down there. I don't figure they gotta be excessively tight. So that's got that covered. Now we can hook our wires back up. Pressure switch, and then evap is going to hook on this little stud here. We'll plug it back up. Yeah, we can take our hoses off, hose clamps. And pretty sure that's got it under the underside. And that's what I'm going to go clean my hands, get this antifreeze smell off there. And if you didn't know, antifreeze has like a bitter stuff in there to make dogs not drink it. So nowadays, if you get the right antifreeze, God, it's nasty. Let me clean my hands. Yeah, if you stick around for me to tell you why I did this, it's kind of comical. Alright, everything should be ready. That panel's off now. We just gotta stick it back. And then you can see these screws now. We're trying to hook on them and then hook on these studs at the same time. So honestly, I think it'd be easier to take the screws out. Actually, I'll just try, well, I don't know which one I want to say. Be easier. I think it'd be easier with them out. Let's try it with them out. Because it's so hard to hook them, and as long as it hooks on the top, these will pretty much line themselves up. Otherwise, you're trying to, like, I can't explain, you're trying to hook and then hook and do it like the same motion and it don't work. This is much lighter. A ZJ dash. I don't know what's in that thing. That thing weighs a freaking ton. Like, it takes nearly 3 people. So now, all we're worried about is going in nice and slow, hooking on the stud on the top. And don't scratch the window tint. There we go. Had a guy wanted me to do a heater core overnight. And I did. I got it back to him. And he brought it back complaining that I scratched his window tint. And I was like, number 1, I'm pretty sure it's illegal. Number 2, you asked me to do it by myself overnight. I kind of knew something was going to happen. Yeah, that's much easier. Take the screws out. Alright, I'll make this a little speedy. Let me knock some stuff out. I'll go over everything. And I'll make sure you don't miss nothing going back to get it. If this camera had time lapse, I'd do it. Actually, I can do it. Hold on. I'll just record. I just won't say crap. I'll just speed it up. I can just start talking in any minute. Y'all are there. All right, so this big connector, 10mm there, those two back there, got those, airbag, oh, brake switch. It's simple, just goes, like if you wanted to reset it right now, you could just pull out on this thing, and now as it pushes in, it'll reset it. But I probably wouldn't do that, just if you needed to know. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that. Now it's hard to push back in. Actually, push the brake pedal down. Let's go in, quarter turn now. Shh. Yep, that's how you reset it. So that's that. 3 10s across there. 13, 13, 13, 13, 13. Vacuum lines. Green connector. This one we undid, that was going through the dash. Probably, you may not have to do that. Radio antenna. 3 10s across there. 13 on the bottom. 13 on the bottom. Yeah. So next I'm going to put the column back in. Oh, didn't work, battery died, but 9:02, so 2 hours on the dot, it's done. I mean, that center console technically should take like 30 seconds, but I'm going to just show you this bracket. Well, I really honestly think there's nothing to show. You just unscrew it and screw it back on. Let me get that done. Alright, definitely easier said than done. I probably should have got this screw first, but I couldn't get the carpet peeled back, so I actually screwed through the carpet. You can see it's going to sit right around there. And then, yeah, one of these was actually too small, so I had to drill it out. But we should be good to go now. And I remember I had to take the radio back out to put Mark's wires back in, then I had to crimp this back together and get all that stuck, so. Should have took less time, but we're here. Don't forget to pull the emergency brake up. I feel like y'all got this part right here. Mark's wire's trying to fall down. Yeah, full drive back in neutral. Watch the seat belts, they'll jump off in there. That should be that. Make sure before you cinch it down, you got your light bulbs in the right location. Yep. And this thing, let's see, how does it center? Put this back down. Yeah, there's screw by the shifter. See, that one's slotted. That one is not, so that's gonna be your center. And then hopefully this China-made bracket. Yep. No, that one's way off, but I'll see if I can make it work. Them brackets, you usually have to just bend them to whatever your liking is, but they do work. Alright, this little light tray was broke off, but I'm gonna be real. Well, let me do this gear shifter first. Make sure these little sliding paws are center when you go through there. Should be about drive neutral somewhere in that area. But start sliding it down. Well, should have enough slack. No, I ain't gonna risk it. Start sliding it down and then push your light up through there. Well, yep, just push the light up in the hole. See a little clear thing by my finger? That is the alignment right here to get the shifter lined up. So as you're sliding down, you may want to go through there, make sure the front clears. Just be very careful with it. So that's that. Transfer case. Start sliding it down through there. Be careful, just shove the bulb up in there. I don't know why it's gotta be so hard. And just be careful with these, they are fragile. Tuck your wires away. Make sure they're out of the way. Find the center. So that's that. Shifter goes that way. Try to hit dead center. That's that. Now we need center bezel. I think we're done. Make sure them wires are out of the way. Pop, 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 pop. And we are done. Let's see, what did I miss? This bezel right here, for sure, I would have left the column down, got this top part done. This bezel goes on first, then this bezel, then the rubber goes around it. Connect your rubber. Well, you would have to raise your steering column up, then connect your rubber. Metal piece hooks in, 2 screws. This piece hooks in top, kind of random, and then 3 screws across the bottom. It makes no sense. The metal gets 2 screws, and the plastic gets 3, whatever. What did I miss? I think it's about it. At this point, I feel like you understand under the hood, put the battery back on, crank it, rev it up. This is where it comes out. So this, if it's hot right here and you go through and it's not coming back warm on this side, it's not flowing. So if you feel the need to rivet, get it to go around, sometimes it just, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. It's going down on an air pocket, so it's having to push and then bring back around. But, oh, and these little line connecty things there. Well, y'all understand the concept of them. Snap them back on. Gray is bigger this side. Yeah, same thing on this side. Screws here, and then the 7/16 there. That's kind of a booger to get in there. Mark's does not have a blend door at all, so I got to do that tomorrow. It's raining, or I would show you it working, even though you probably couldn't see nothing. Alright, the funny part about the video. Oh, 97, you have a cable right here. So I found it easier to take the cable off at this part. So pull this off, maybe take the radio out, or probably take this out and then take the cable and go down. It sticks on right here, but it's very hard. So this was a male Jeep. They had took the airbag and the glove box out. Me and Mark was under the impression that the dash had been cut. Neither of us even tried to look. The Jeep didn't even need a heater core at all. Didn't hurt to install it, but there was no point of doing it. So many comments was wanting this video, I was like, God, I gotta get this video out. So knowing we was gonna do the dash, I was like, if I got the dash off, it don't take just a little bit longer to do the heater core. So that's why I texted him the other day. I was like, let me borrow your Jeep and I'll do this for free. Well, we did some trading. But the funny part, I went and pulled an entire dash to swap out, and after seeing his radio and wiring and stuff, I was like, let me just try. So all it was there was 8 screws and 4 bolts to hold the airbag in. The glove box had 3 screws across it, and that's his original dash. So for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and cost me a heater core and that bracket to hold his center console in, that's pretty much, I'm pretty much going to eat that and the labor of getting that dash out just to provide this video for y'all. So I enjoy it though. I'm glad to be able to do this stuff because I do actually enjoy it, oddly enough. It's kind of weird, but let me round up all the tools to make sure you know before you go, because I did wind up with quite a few more than I realized. All right, before I forget, the drill, I mean, that's not necessarily a have to have, but I did end up using all them tools. I had to have the 2 disconnects, 13, 10, 7/16, and then I don't even think I used that. Luckily, mine's not rusty. 11 or 7/16, 10 deep quarter drive. That's just my preferred tool, so you technically don't need those. Well, you need this with 8mm for the box. 10mm wiggle, pretty sure I used it. And then the wiggle with a 7/16 or 11mm for the box bolts. And then that 13 wiggle could have got away without it. Pair of pliers, little magnetic trays, and this long extension if you've got one, don't have to have that. So 9:24 is the final time. Not super happy with the time, but kind of rusty on Cherokees, run into this. And then I spent 20 minutes filming with the camera off. So if you was at home, I would expect easy 3 hours, but really think about that. Like, people talk about some cars taking 20 hours, and not a doubt in my mind, I just did that in 2 hours. So that's pretty awesome. I'd be curious to see what I can get it down to, no camera, but we'll worry about that one day. I want to do one blindfolded. That would be hilarious, I feel like. I'm pretty sure I could do it. But again, don't be afraid to do this. I mean, if you go through the video, watch, especially the take apart process, I don't think I missed a single thing, except when the camera turned off. But anyways, I'm gonna edit this, try to get it out too ASAP. Fitting to put my wood heater in. I realize it's winter, so I'm sure somebody wants heater in their Jeep, so try to have it out. Today's Wednesday. I try to get it to you this Sunday. Today's the November 13th. So whatever day that'll be, I'll have it out. Have a good day. Hope you enjoyed and learned.